Let's talk about a new beer from an old friend right here on RGR Craft. Welcome back to RGR Craft. I'm Ryan, and this is me going rogue out here on the craft beer industry and homebrewing. A little bit of everything, and it's been a little bit getting ready for some very exciting stuff, but I wanted to share with you a simple beer review today, one that I think has really caught on lately, at least in my group of friends, and hopefully in yours as well, and I wanted to give you an idea of what this is. It's not your standard fare from what's a synonymous beer company with St. Patrick's Day. And it's not a classic dry Irish stout from Guinness, but a stock ale. And that is partially stout, but it's also barley wine that is blended and then aged, in this case in bullet bourbon barrels, and is a beer that gives off a lot of aroma, a lot of flavor in varying depths of it. It's something that I really like, and I think you guys are really going to dig too. So let's take a look at it. So when you're talking with your group of friends and somebody mentions Guinness, the first thing that comes to mind is an tan-topped, oil can-looking beer that honestly a lot of people are just overwhelmed by. And so I wanted to give still a significant beer in terms of ABV, in terms of flavor profile. I want to give an alternative and do something a little bit different. So let's crack this thing open. This is a stock ale from Guinness. And the interesting thing about this is one of the beers that's now being produced at their new brewery in Baltimore, which is a converted distillery. And I think it's produced some beer that's really, really interesting. It pours this luscious caramel color. And I think you all can agree that the way that comes down looks really good. Doesn't produce a lot of head unless you want to get it there, and sometimes you do. Get you a nice tan looking color to it. Something that I think really offsets, but again, is not the oil can looking kind of classic from Guinness. Now this is a beer that I think can really go in a number of different directions. It's more of a sipper, I will say that. I do tend towards those, but it's a beer that I think really does its best when it's doing its thing and just not served super cold. I do like to let it warm up. And right now, this has probably been out of the fridge for about half an hour. It's coming along, a lot of caramel on the nose. That lacing is falling apart, but not overly quickly. It's not a stout head. It's going to have a little bit more air cushion to it, and it's going to fade a little bit. But it comes off really nicely. Now, as we get into the first sips of this, it's a beer that you can feel the beginnings of where this came from. You can feel a kind of dark, chocolatey, almost a touch of molasses underneath that comes from part of the stout that's blended into this beer. And it's got that backbone, that familiarity that I think really rings true for new drinkers of this particular beer. But on letting it clear your palate a little bit, the next inhale in particular gives you more aspects of maybe just a little bit of fig over the top, maybe some darker fruit, and it's not opaque. This is translucent. I'll take some B-roll here and get you some good imagery of it here in a couple of minutes, but this is a beer that has depth to it without being overly bash you on the head with that mouth feel. This does drink smoother. Kind of a lighter bodied barley wine is what I would consider it. I wouldn't call it a classic real English heavy sweet. It's definitely not. It comes from that historic standpoint of a dry Irish. And I think it really goes a long way towards helping take what is a style, barley wine, that America does not embrace overly readily and help bring it back into the forefront by putting it with some stout, which does ring true across the country, especially in these months. Now, as you continue to drink that, you're going to get those slighter flavors there. Black currant, maybe a little bit in there. Almost a touch of that chocolate-covered cherry. I really enjoy that. And this is a beer that I think is one that I kind of feed people when I'm trying to get them into tasting barley wine for the first time, trying to do something different. I find that this is a nice halfway point, especially for my friends that are into stout already. That definitely gets them in the door and puts them in a place where they can open their palates up and their minds up a little bit to be ready to get some of this more advanced, more unique, and less urbanized kind of beer profile. Something that I really enjoy, and the fact that it's brewed here in Baltimore, I think that goes a long way in making it more palatable to the average drinker today, especially those that are looking for juicy IPA and that kind of thing. Something that's easily acceptable, easily approachable from breweries across America. This is becoming another way to kind of get back into an older style, but in a fresher way that I think a lot of newer drinkers can appreciate and identify. So please let me know what you think. Have you had this before? Does this review give you an idea of what this stock ale ought to be? And does it pique your interest? If you're new around here and you're a new beer fan, please hit that sub button. Hit the little bell that tells you when something new goes up on the Craft channel. Hit your comment below. Let me know what you think. And leave me a thumbs up if you like this video. I have more coming on the Spike Conical. All kinds of recipe development and continued in those series. And we're looking to expand this channel. We have some more content coming for you. So I appreciate you guys hanging out and checking this one out. And I'll catch you next time. Cheers.